Hey, what's up, Austin? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you, John?
I'm good, thank you. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to hop on this quick call with me here. Like I was saying before, we just wanted to kind of get an idea. First of all, I know you've been working with Roger and kind of following the $0 startup and his methodology for I think just a couple weeks now, right?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, I kind of first wanted to get an idea of, when you first talked to Roger and his team, and we're looking at working with Roger and kind of following his system. But like, what brought you to that position? What brought you to the point of like, hey, I want to try and follow what he has to share and see if it could fit and make money for you.
I don't know if this story works for you guys, but the way I actually worked with Roger like 5 years ago at a car dealership, and I hadn't seen him in probably 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden he popped into my head, and I was like, man, I should check in with him, see how he's doing. So I called, no answer. His voice or his mailbox was full. So then I sent him a message on Facebook and kind of forgot about it. And then a week later, he called me out of the blue and, you know, in his usual Roger way, what up, brother? you know, you're a legend, kind of thing. And I told him, I was like, look, in fact, so I mean, I'm a praying man, and when he came into my mind, I was actually praying. And whenever that happens, I'm like, hey, follow that.
For sure.
I don't know what's going to happen, but you should follow it. So I did, and I told him that, and he's like, I think I know exactly why you're calling me. He's like, I just started this course called $0 Startup. It'll change your life. It'll just be a great opportunity for you, your family. You can make some money, and you'll just have more free time. And truth be told, like I kind of make my own schedule now. I shared with you earlier, I own a couple of businesses, but it's, as far as having it passive income or more free time, yes and no. It's like, yeah, I can make my schedule if my kids have an event, but it's
Mm,
not like I could just take off for a couple of weeks and expect to have money coming in,
for
So
sure.
I was definitely intrigued, and I trust Roger with my life. I think he's just, everything I know about him. I've known him for 7 or 8 years now, and he's just salt of the earth guy. I've never felt like he's ever been anything but honest with me, and so I mean, I brag about him to people that he doesn't know.
Yeah,
And so yeah, when he approached me with it, I mean, I didn't even hesitate. I was like, yeah, for sure. I trust you, and I know that you would never put something out there that's not going to benefit people. So took the leap, paid the money, and I went through the course. And you know, some of the stuff in the course I already knew. I'm a seasoned entrepreneur. I've
mm,
been around the block a few times. At and he recommends tons of books, and I'm like, oh yeah, read that
yep.
one, but there was a lot of stuff in there that I hadn't really heard of before, and there's information in there that I was like, oh, that's very intriguing, especially because I work in merchandise marketing,
Yeah.
print and promo and swag merchandise. And I was like, oh, this kind of offers me another opportunity to build out more marketing for my clients. And so I was like, I can already build off of a foundation that I have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I finished up the course. I think it was 6 weeks,
Mm,
and then I paid Roger even more because I wanted more personal one-on-one time with him. Not necessarily that I want hand holding, but sometimes I want someone to hold my hand.
yeah,
so, uh,
yeah.
and he was like, well, look, he's like, this is what I charge. And I was like, yeah, I think that's fair. And then just went out there, and I think this was only the third person that I approached,
Huh.
and I got this, $6,500 deal. Well, it's going to be 4,000 a month for the next 8 months, and then we're going to reevaluate there. And he's giving me 2,500 to build a small website for some storage units that he owns.
Wow. Dude, that is awesome. Yeah, walk us through if you're up for just a little bit more detail about like what that deal looks like or how you went about getting that.
So the guy, I haven't known him very long. He was actually a referral from another client of mine here at Brand Makers. And so I did some hats for him. And while I was in the process of that, I just kind of out of the blue, I was like, hey, what do you do to get leads? Because he's a contractor. He builds, steel warehouses, garages, things like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, he just kind of, I could tell this frustration. He's just like, oh my gosh, I'm spending $8,000 to $10,000 a month on ads and marketing. I'm like, whoa, that is a lot. And
yeah.
And so I just started asking him some questions. I was like, hey, would you mind if I just did a free website evaluation to kind of see where you're at on your SEO compared to your top 3 competitors? And so I ran that through, it was Roger's program that he, agency platform.
Yeah.
Because it's free. Once you sign up, I think you get like, depending on which, program you buy from agency platform, you get like 50 to 100 of those a month or something. So I ran one for him, and I was like, hey, your score is about a 41 out of 100. That's not horrible, but there's definitely some things we could improve. If you want to give me a shot, I'd love to bid it out for you and see if maybe we could do something different. He's like, well, I got a guy right now running my SEO, and I've been getting a lot of leads, and he's like, he's definitely better than the first 2 guys that I tried to use. So, I didn't think much of it. And then it was, a little over a week later, he calls me out of the blue. He's like, hey, tell me more about what you can do for my marketing. I'm just so sick of spending all this money. And he's like, if you can give me a better deal, he's like, I'm ready to go. And so I was like, sweet. And so I just kind of, put some numbers out there, and he's like, perfect. Let's get started. So that was that.
Dude, I think that's awesome. I think that's a perfect highlight, because honestly, I think a lot of people look at this type of scenario of, hey, I come in contact with somebody and he's just, kind of offloading. He's frustrated with this and that. And then a lot of people get nervous about this process and think yeah, Austin's only successful because he's like a total hard seller. Like he's just pushing and pushing. And like, from what you just shared, I'm like, no, dude, like if there's anything I've learned, honestly, from Roger, it's really about just going through the right way of listening, like helping these prospects know that, like, yes, I'm totally listening. I get where you're coming from. And I think that really creates natural space, when they do have a problem. If you can, just offer a simple, like you said, like an evaluation. It's not like, hey, buy my thing. It's just like, let me just give you an evaluation and see if there's room, that something could be improved. And
Yeah.
and it sounds like you just totally chase after that. That's awesome.
And it's funny because even when I was on the phone with him, I was not super confident. This is the first real possible deal that I've had. And, I talked to a few other people, prospects, but nothing real serious. And I even told him, I was like, look, I'm meeting with my guy, Roger, on Wednesday. Let me see what he recommends as far as, how we could possibly make this better for you, more quality leads. Maybe you won't get the quantity, but I'd like to have a shot at it and see if we can really improve it at a better price. And you could just tell, though, sincerely, I want to help him. Like,
Yeah.
For him to be spending $10,000 a month is just crazy to me. And so anyway, it's funny, I met with Roger on Wednesday, and while we were on the phone and he was kind of coaching me through how to close out this deal or how to get better with it, the client called in the middle of it. And I was like, hey, Roger, he's actually calling me right now. And he's like, all right, call me back, and I think I actually have my notes right here. He was just saying, he talked about one of the things that could probably help him is just having better questions to filter out the bad leads, the window shoppers or the time wasters. And so he gave me some ideas of some things I could mention to him. And it seems like as soon as I did that, he's like, oh my gosh, I've been asking my SEO guy to do that for months. And he acts like he can't do that. Like he can't make any changes. And I was like, well, it's really not that difficult. We can do that for you, but it's up to you. I was like, here's what it would cost. I think we would need, 8 to 10 months to really see this mature, but we'd be saving you $5-6 grand a month. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, let's do it. So it was awesome. And yeah, I was really grateful that I kind of went the extra with Roger, like paying for his like one-on-one stuff,
Yeah.
because it kind of just gave me that, almost like a coach, right? You know,
Yeah,
you're
for
the
sure.
bat and your coach is like, look, you know, eye on the ball, you know, whatever, like keep your hands here, or, you know, whatever it is. And I felt like I just wanted that.
Mhm.
I'm a big believer. I don't necessarily love school, but I love education through apprenticeship. You know,
Yes.
I think that apprenticing is much stronger. I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, if you haven't noticed. So, you know,
Love
master
it.
and apprentice. And yeah, if Roger's the master, I'm just a wee Jedi in training. You know what I mean? So um, anyway, yeah, it was a good experience.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, again, just huge congratulations for you on a really, really awesome deal that
Yeah.
you've worked out there. Just as we wrap up, you know, if anybody's kind of looking at Roger and the $0 startup and considering, you know, should I invest in that or not? Like, I'd love to kind of hear your quick 2 cents on helping them to understand if it's a good opportunity.
You know, it's funny. I was actually talking to my mom about this yesterday. My mom called me, and I actually was telling her about this deal, and she's like, "I am just so amazed that you don't seem to be bothered to spend money if you know that you're the type of person who will make it happen." Um, and you know, everything is what you put into it.
Yeah,
If you don't pay for it, you're probably not going to get money out of it. And
for sure.
so,
Right.
all these people who think they're going to get a free lunch and, they're going to get something for nothing. I just, the motivation's not there, you know?
Yeah.
So really, I think, I think it's worth it to just kind of take a self-evaluation and be like, okay, am I the person that can do this and have, just that determination? Because really, the money's not an issue. I mean, I'm going to make my money back that I've paid to Roger in 2 or 3 months
Yeah.
from one deal. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
and now everyone's going to be like, oh, well, yeah, that's easy for you to say. Like, no, like it wasn't easy to just shell out thousands of dollars out. That's
Yeah.
not. I got 4 kids. I got responsibilities.
Yep.
Um, at the same time, now I look, hindsight, it's like, oh, that's a no brainer. I mean, that was like paying nothing because I'm going to make 10 times, 20 times more now that I have all this information and this another avenue of income.
Yeah. Dude,
So
that's
yeah, I would,
awesome.
I would encourage people, if you are determined, then take the leap.
Yeah, for sure. And I would probably also add to that, you know, one of the really, really cool things about Roger's approach is, you know, he's helping you guys to understand how you can set something like this up in your business, and you don't have to be bogged down on the fulfillment side, right? Like I know when you built out this deal, like you have somebody now in place to help actually fulfill on that deal you closed on, right? Yeah.
and
So
that
I mean, that's
that
awesome right there.
information. Well, and it's very similar actually. I mean, even with my branding company where we do swag, it's like I don't do most of it in house. I have suppliers and decorators that we've partnered with, and they are so good at what they do. I'm really good at what I do, and so we work together,
Yeah.
and everyone benefits. So it's kind of the same exact thing, just you know with digital marketing. That's
Yeah.
that's really the difference. So
For certain, like all that matters is that your client or consumer is happy with what they get, right?
yeah.
Which is awesome because that frees you up to now take, you know, you have this one deal under your belt to now go and chase after more, right?
Yeah, and Roger, as soon as I called him after I closed it, he was just just screaming, just so happy for me. And then he said, "All right, Austin, now that you've made the deal, you need to take an entire day and dedicate it to this client and make sure that you provide the service that they deserve." And that meant a lot to me because it's
Yeah.
like I feel that some sales guys get a really bad rap. And
Mhm.
Roger's a sales guy. I'm a sales guy.
Yep.
But he was like, no, this is where you can shine if you really deliver and do something beyond what this guy even expects. So he's like, take a day and really invest yourself in his stuff. And he's like, you need to do that before you even go on to the next sale.
Yeah.
Which again, it's like that's how a salesperson should be. You know.
Yes, for
So
certain.
anyway, that was huge for me too because it was a reminder of, even though at that moment I was so pumped and I was like, oh, I want to go make like 5 more deals. And he was like, hey, slow down, even though you made the deal, you need to fulfill the deal before
Yeah.
you. So I don't know. I've been more than happy so far. So
Dude, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your
yeah,
experience.
of
I
course.
really appreciate it. And like you just shared, I think it's a no brainer when you know that you can invest in something and you can directly be able to see how you can make that back. And again, like you said, when your back's to the wall, like you're working with someone like Roger and his team have integrity in all that they do. So
I do.
awesome to see that. So anyway, just to wrap up, if you guys are considering working with Roger, you've been looking at the $0 framework, based on just Austin's story that here he has shared with us, invite you to click down below and apply and see if it's a good fit for you guys. So again, thank you so much, Austin. Appreciate your time, bro.
Appreciate it.
Okay, have a good one.
All right.